Mahomes steps up down the middle of the field, caught by Kelsey, touchdown!
Down the sideline, it's caught, touchdown!
Gurley gets in, touchdown LA! Todd Gurley finds his way in for a third time today.
Back of the end zone, blocked by Green, A.J. Green, he takes it all the way for the touchdown! Number 3, a hat trick for A.J. Green!
Brock is double teamed, just outstanding defense by Jacksonville, no one's open.
Hey Fantasy Bros, welcome to the Fantasy Mechanic. I'm your host, the Fantasy Maniac Mario. Sorry for the wait, feeling a little under the weather, but I'm happy I'm back to you. We're going to go over Week 3, and then we're going to move on to our Week 4 matchups, predictions, GM of the Week, and the power rankings. So let's start off with Week 3. And of course, we're going to start off with yours truly, McCory Inc. versus the McC Administration. I picked myself to win this one this week. I just thought that I had loaded up a couple of days prior, and that ended up being the case. I won that matchup 156 to 133, which makes the McC Administration 0-3, and I am 1-2. It's Sway Day versus Blake Baller. Stay in your lane. This one was closer than expected, but Blake's Ballers ended up eking out the win by 31 points by the score of 151 to 120. Vin's Promise School was in a close one, actually. Vin's Promise School only eked his one out by 4, which is very surprising against Toon Squad. That score was 116 to 112. Vin's Promise School got that one. CT Coat versus Team Hopkins. This is the one I believe I got wrong. I had a lot of faith in Team Hopkins, but CT Goat proved me wrong. CT Coat, excuse me, proved me wrong. He won this one easily by the score of 149 to 118. Y'all Gurley versus Slim Jesus the Guru. I also got this one wrong. Your Gurley make me eat my words once again. He eked his out 160 to 138. And actually, it wasn't really close. So good job, y'all Gurley, who also was our GM of the week prior. And let's get to the game of the week. North Korea Blue Magic versus Team MJ. I had this being the game of the week, and I think this game ended up being the biggest lopsided score. I picked North Korea Blue Magic to win this one out, and he ended up winning by the score of 223 to 145. Let's check out the box scores. Anytime you get into the 200s, we definitely have to check out the box scores. Okay, so we had Matt Ryan, who scored him 66 points. Alvin Kamara dropped 40. Carlos Hyde was surprising 29 points. Marvin Jones 16. Robert Woods, a very surprising 36.9. Trey Burton 9. Austin Hooper got him 7. Texans D got him 10. And Jake Elliott, the kicker, got him 8. Basically, Matt Ryan, Kamara, Hyde, and Woods got him the bulk of his points. And let's go to Team MJ. He had Cam Newton, who got him 36. James White 14. David Johnson 19. Antonio Brown 17. Chris Hogan 6. Kyle Rudolph 15. Kenny Stills 15. And Broncos D got him 15. So Team MJ just ran into the wrong team on the wrong day at the wrong time. So that pretty much wraps up our week 3. I believe I went 4-2 this week, which brings me at a grand total of 9-3. So I think that's pretty good. I'm above 500, so that keeps the Fantasy Maniac predictions alive. Oh, and before I forget, let's get into our GM of the week. And I think this week was a very easy week for me to pick GM of the week. And I'm going to give GM of the week to, drum roll please, I'm going to give it to North Korea Blue Magic. And the reason I give it to North Korea Blue Magic is because he made 2 trades that week, 2 different owners, and he ended up getting the highest score of the week. 2, each week he gets higher and higher. I believe he put up almost 80 to 100 points from what he did the week before. And he traded for Carlos Hyde from Blake Ballers. I think Carlos Hyde finished as the top 4, one of the top 4 scoring backs this week. He gave him 23 carries, 98 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. And that doesn't show the receiving stats. But GM of the week, North Korea Blue Magic. So congratulations, Keith. Salute to you. And now let's get into our Week 4 matchups, predictions, injuries, and everything else going around the league. So now let's take a look at what's been going on around the league. First, I want to start with the free agent auction bid report. So this is a report that happens, I believe, Wednesday, and it goes from the highest bid to the lowest bid, and it tells you who put the bid in for what player, and if they got added, and if they didn't get added, the reason why they weren't added. So let's start with the highest bid. The highest bid this week, it again goes to Mark Blake. He paid $27 to add Sterling Shepard. The second highest was again Blake Ballers. He added the Seahawks defense for $16. Y'all Gurley added Vince McDonald for $8. Van Promise School tried put in for Jordy Nelson for $7. Van Promise School also tried to get Sterling Shepard with a bid of $7. It was unsuccessful. Van Promise School put in a bid for Chris Goodwin from Tampa Bay, who's been killing it right now, and his request was unsuccessful. The reason that his didn't go through was because he had the maximum roster size would be exceeded. Because I placed a bid on Godwin, and it was only $2. So if his roster would have been set correctly, he would have got that player. Then I put my bid in for Chris Godwin for $2. It got accepted. The Mixon administration picked up Baker Mayfield for $1. CT Coates picked up or tried to pick up the Seahawks defense for $1, which he wasn't enough. Y'all Gurley put a bid on for Ryan Suckup for $1. It wasn't enough. Nope. I'm sorry, it was unsuccessful because the maximum roster size would be exceeded. So he had also the same situation that Vinny ran into. Guys, if you want to add a player, you must first make sure your roster is eligible to pick up that player. If your roster is ineligible, you will not be able to receive that player. I shouldn't be giving you that heads up because I'm going against you guys, but here at the Fantasy Mechanic, we try to fix your mistakes. So you're welcome. The Mixon administration put up a Vance McDonald, but he only betted $0 with his cheap self, and that wasn't enough. And the Mixon administration also added Ricky Seals-Jones for $0. So that was the auction report. Let's see if we can look up trades. So here's the trades that went down week 3. This trade was between Team Hopkins and Blake Ballers. And Blake Ballers sent over the Bears defense, Alfred Morris. And in return from Team Hopkins, he would get the Dolphins D, Alex Collins, and Quincy Enunwa. Just looking at the trade, it looks fair to me. I like Alex Collins, but I also like the Bears defense. Alfred Morris gets his touches. So, I mean, this trade looks fair to me. But I can't speak on their behalf. But, again, and if anytime you guys want to come along and co-host with me, sit down on the couch in the lounge and do recaps, my door is open. The other trade involved me, McCoy Inc. and Blake Ballers. I sent him over my first pick, Odell Beckham Jr., George Kittles, and in return, I'm going to get Devontae Adams, Zach Ertz, and Buck Allen. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you gave up your number 1 pick. You gave up Odell Beckham Jr. Yes, that's true. But I don't fall in love with my players. I try to look for quality players in depth because it's a long season. Also, George Kittle lost his quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, out for the season. So, in my mind, I felt his stats will go down. Devontae Adams, at this point in the season, has been outscoring Odell Beckham Jr. Zach Ertz is a tight end, a top 3 tight end, and he can also put up receiver numbers any given Sunday. So that's another reason I made it easier. And Buck Allen also been doing his thing. Those carries are being split 50-50. He's their third down back also. And if something happens to Collins, then Buck Allen becomes the number 1 back. With Odell Beckham, just Eli Manning and the line not being able to protect him doesn't make me, I don't feel warm and fuzzy about that. So those are the reasons why I made the trade. Maybe Blake Ballers can explain to you guys why he did the trade on his end. And that's pretty much it for what's going around the league with the transactions and trades. So let's look at our week 4 matchups, and then we'll get into our game of the week. So of course we're going to start with my game, McCoy Inc. versus Y'all Gurley. And I'm going to pick myself, McCoy Inc., to get this one over Y'all Gurley. I feel like I made a lot of moves this past couple weeks that put me in position to get this win. I understand Y'all Gurley is 3-0, and he finds a way to win each week. But I feel like this week his luck is gonna run out against McCoy Inc. I'm picking Vince Promise School, who's also 3-0, over at Sway Day, who's 0-3. So I feel like Vince Promise School is gonna get that win. I believe very easily. I feel like Sway has to make a couple more trades to get the ball rolling. I'm going to take Team MJ over Toon Squad. Actually, check that. Let me just quickly check these box scores for that game. Right now, Team MJ doesn't have a quarterback. He has Cam on bye. He doesn't have a quarterback on his roster. And we've seen with that what happens when we don't have a quarterback on your bench and you just try to stream quarterbacks, a la the Mixon administration. Tune squad have Matthew Stafford, Dalvin Cook, Sony Michel, who's a starting back now, Demaryius Thomas, Cooper Kupp, and he has Kenny Galladay in his flex and the Patriots D going against Miami. He has Christian McCaffrey on bye, which hurts him a little bit, and he's not going to start Amari Cooper. You know, boy, I like Amari Cooper over Demaryius Thomas, but that's me. MJ has Cam Newton, who's on bye, Kerryon Johnson, David Johnson, Antonio Brown, Chris Hogan, David Njoku, Kenny Stills, and the Broncos D going against Kansas City. I just don't know who his quarterback's going to be, so as a default, I'm just going to have to go with Tune squad to get that win. If I knew if he had a quarterback, that would give me a better look at what he can do, but I'm going to go with Tune squad by default because Team MJ doesn't have a quarterback on his roster right now. So that's that. I'm going to take CT's coat over the McC administration. With the McC administration, he needs one thing to happen, and he will be solid. And I think if he can get this one thing to happen quickly, I feel like that he'll start shooting up the charts. If the Pittsburgh Steelers can trade Le'Veon Bell to a team, the McC administration will have a stable of dangerous running backs. He'll have Connor, and he will have Bell, and they have Mixon starting every single week with Brandon Cooks and Jarvis Landry. If he can get that done within the next 2 weeks, he can do some real damage in this league. But if he falls 0-4, he's going to be having to make up a lot of ground. But it is possible. It has been done before. So, but with all that being said, as we speak right now, I'm going with CT's coat. I'm also going to take Slim Jesus, the Guru, over Team Hopkins. And that brings us to the game of the week. Blake Ballers, Stay in Your Lane versus North Korea Blue Magic. Let's check out the matchups. Blake Ballers has Deshaun Watson going against Indy. I like that matchup. He has Zeke going against Detroit. I like that matchup. Alex Collins at Pittsburgh. Not a bad matchup. It's a division game, so you know they'll be running the ball a lot. Michael Thomas going against the Giants. Odell Beckham Jr., who we acquired from McCoy Inc., going against New Orleans. George Kittle's at the LA Chargers, and Keenan Allen in the flex. And North Korea Blue Magic has Matt Ryan, Alvin Kamara, Carlos Hyde, Marvin Jones, Robert Woods, Trey Burton, Josh Gordon. If Josh Gordon suits up, that'll be a good start. And he has the Browns defense going against Oakland. I feel like this is going to be a good game, and this is the game that most of us will be watching if it's not our game. I'm really interested to find out who wins this game. Gun to my head, I'm going to take Blake Ballers Stay in Your Lane simply because he has Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, and Odell Beckham Jr. If any of those running backs go off or two, that can cause panic and alarm and a loss for North Korea Blue Magic. So, game of the week, winner goes to Blake Ballers Stay in Your Lane. So, we'll see how I do next week. So right there was our Week 4 predictions. So there you have it. That's the Week 4 predictions and recaps. Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Mechanics with your fantasy host, the Fantasy Maniac Mario, in the Lounge Edition. Again, good luck to all my fantasy bros, and I'll see you next week.